Money is a taboo subject for many people and can be a painful subject depending on your financial situation. From my experience, most of us aren't taught about money, and this leads to bad money habits. And these habits go on for years and years and can lead to financial pain, like serious debt or being constantly worried about paying the bills, etc., etc. Trust me, when you've got money problems, it is painful. I've well and truly had that t-shirt. For me personally, when I've had money problems in the past, it's meant anxiety and stress, where I'm constantly thinking about money or a lack of money. Where am I going to work after this job? How will I support my family? How will I pay the bills? What about the car if that goes wrong? Just a constant loop of negativity. For the first 35 years of my life, I picked up every bad money habit you can think of. But things changed in 2019 when I made the decision to educate myself. I'm here to tell you that no matter how old you are, you can move past your bad habits. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about the 10 bad money habits you need to break as soon as humanly possible. And more importantly, I'm going to give you actionable steps so you can move past each bad habit. Then I'm going to give you a little bonus and tell you how you can secure your financial future. Bad habit 1 is worrying about money. Let me take you back to my early 20s. I'm going to tell you a little story that I'm ashamed of. During our first few years together, my future wife suffered with anxiety. Being a young lad, I didn't understand. I didn't care. She would have a panic attack and I would think she was being a drama queen or looking for a bit of attention. Or when we went on our first week abroad to Benidorm together, she had a panic attack and spent literally the last 3 days in the hotel room. I had zero empathy, zero understanding. I'm not proud of this little story at all. Now, I didn't understand anxiety until I felt it myself. I felt it for the first time when I was about 27 years old, when me and my future wife had our first home and our youngest daughter was 1 year old. My job was coming to an end and I became breathless. It got that bad I had to go to the doctors. I thought it was an asthma attack. Long story short, it was anxiety. It didn't feel good and made me feel horrendous because I'd dismissed anxiety in previous years. This was the first time I realised I spent too much time worrying about money. Take it from me, worrying about money won't get you anywhere. 3 words will help you move past this bad habit. Learn about money. And this leads us on to bad habit 2, not educating yourself. It took me a while to get past this one. I used to spend a lot of time whinging about money, especially in and around 2016 and 2017. Despite earning good money as an electrical contractor, our savings always seemed to be going the wrong way, to be going down. I used to give my future wife the spreadsheet talk quite regularly, but it didn't work as neither of us really understood money. If you don't educate yourself with money, if you don't become financially literate, you will struggle financially, even if you earn good money. This is from my experience and many of my friends, family, and colleagues, and the books I've read. I've had years where I've earned really good money, and with zero financial literacy, I've allowed lifestyle creep to kick in, which basically means your income goes up and then your expenses go up to match your income. This is probably my worst money habit in over 20 years as an investor. Please learn from my painful lesson here. How you move past it? You pick up the books and learn about money. You listen to the podcasts. You listen to the audibles if you're not a reader, etc. Bad habit 3 is gambling. I've got gambling in the blood. Horse racing, football bets, whatever. And this was popular on both sides of my family. I had a bad decade with money between 2008 and 2018. I've talked about it loads on this channel because I want other investors like you to avoid my painful decade. One of the things I've done, which is a really bad habit, a dangerous habit, is that I gambled my money away, trying to chase that pot at the end of the rainbow. I gamble in the stock market without having any idea what I was doing. I was clueless. Probably why I lost my life savings back in 2011 in the stock market. I'd focus on the lottery, scratch cards, football bets, putting all my savings into premium bonds, expecting a big win. Please learn from me on this one, because gambling can get out of hand quickly. To move past this, you need to work on discipline. Be honest with yourself and think about how important your financial future is, and the fact that gambling won't do anything for that future. Failing that, talk to friends and family or get professional help. This might seem a bit extreme, but I've seen how gambling can get seriously out of hand. Bad habit 4 is failing to budget. A big part of personal finance is having a budget. If you don't budget, your personal finances will be bad. And if that's the case, you probably won't be able to invest. And what happens when you're in your 60s and your 70s? Please give budgeting the respect it deserves. It's painful at first, but go through them bank statements and get all your income and expenses written down. Get it added to a basic Excel spreadsheet, or you can use budgeting software, whatever you prefer. Turn this into a weekly habit and you've turned a bad habit into a good habit. Bad habit 5 is living beyond your means. I mentioned lifestyle creep earlier, where your expenses end up creeping up and matching your income. My earnings dropped in 2016 as I stopped working on offshore oil and gas platforms. But our spending didn't drop. In fact, it kicked onto another gear. As we went on 3 holidays, spent £10,000 on a front room we didn't really need. We got the latest SUV, among other expenses that done serious damage to our savings. Did the extra stuff make me happy? Not really. I just knew our personal finances were a joke, and it just made me worry about money more than ever. Please learn from my mistake on this one. When you refer to your budget, try and cut all the expenses you don't really need. I'm talking about subscriptions you don't need, eating out less takeaways, etc. This will help you move past this very avoidable bad habit. Bad habit 6 is high interest debt. If you've been living beyond your means, it's very likely you will have got yourself in a high interest debt with loans or credit cards or both. To move past this, we're going to go back to the books. Learn about interest rates and compound interest. Once you realize how bad compound interest is with debt, high interest debt, this will motivate you to cut the expenses and pay off them debts. Or if you're not in debt at this moment in time, motivate you to avoid any debt. If you save and get a decent return each year and do this for a long period, this is when compound interest goes the other way. And this can lead to early retirement, or at the very least, make sure you're financially sorted later in life. If you understand interest rates and compound interest, you move past this bad habit. Bad habit 7 is not investing. I didn't invest into a single asset between 2008 and 2018. Well, I did with stocks, but I'm not classing that as investing, as I was clueless. And as I've said, was just gambling in the stock market. I missed out on some huge opportunities. There are a couple of reasons for this. A part of it was a lack of emotional intelligence, but the main reason was a lack of financial education. I started learning about money in 2018, towards the end of 2018 into 2019. If this happened a decade earlier, I would have had the opportunity to make serious money from index investing, property, maybe even crypto if I'd have gotten into crypto a bit earlier, a few years before. To move past this, you go back to the books and you educate yourself. Investing is so important. Please learn from my painful mistake here. Bad habit 8 is comparing yourself to others. Please don't try and keep up with the Joneses by buying that fancy car you can't really afford. Don't look at the perfect lives, the highlight reels over on Instagram, and compare yourself to others. I used to do this prior to 2019 and it didn't get me anywhere. This was until I got into personal development in 2019. Someone's doing better than you at work, so what? They might have been blessed with a higher IQ than you. You're trying your best at your favourite sport, but everyone seems to be doing better than you. So what? One of your best mates has a bigger house, better car, and is smashing it financially. So what? Literally all you can do each day is your best. Trust me, when this sinks in and you compare yourself to what you've done yesterday, you will feel much better. I've read about this in several personal development books and I've lived it. I compare myself to myself and it feels good. I wake up every day and I push hard, and I don't compare myself to anyone else but myself. Bad habit 9 is neglecting retirement planning. This habit is similar to habit 7, but I want to labour the point and get you thinking about your older self, because I want you to look after your older self. If you're 35 with no retirement plan like I was, it's not too late. That's 30 years of investing and compound interest before you reach retirement, or 25 years, even 20 years if you want to retire early. You could be 35, 45, 25. All I would say is that the sooner the better, because the longer you invest, the longer compound interest is going to do its magic. Move past this habit, determine how much you can invest each month. Put it into a compound interest calculator and it will give you a good idea of when you can retire. By the way, if you want to learn more about long-term investing, see below for details of my first investing course, Complete Investing Part 1. This will give you all the info you need. Bad habit 10 is getting too emotional. I've always been an emotional investor, and this is a big mistake. A mistake that leads to poor decision making. Let me give you a little example. In 2021, I was investing in crypto. I got myself some well-researched cryptos in January 21, but by April 21, this is when things start to go wrong. Some of my old bad habits came back with a bang, like getting too emotional. This is when I invested into a meme coin. I checked on the price of the meme coin and other cryptos constantly, like every 5 minutes. This went on for about 6 to 7 weeks. I'd wake up and I'd check my market cap to check on crypto prices. And this would continue all day, every day. I was obsessed. My stress levels during this period were sky high. Whenever I've let my emotions take over, as an investor, I've made stupid, avoidable mistakes. If you find yourself checking the price of your investments too much, this is a sign you're getting too emotional about your investments. Try and be calm and neutral around money and investing. If you can do this, you move past this bad habit. So I've given you 10 bad money habits and actionable steps so you can move past them. You will have noticed a common theme, and that is education. Education, education, education. This is so important. If you really learn about money, I feel you will be able to move past all of the mistakes I've been talking about. To finish off, I'm going to tell you how you can secure your financial future. What I want you to do is keep in mind that this is just my opinion. Anyway, how you secure your financial future is with Bitcoin.